FaZe Clan is genuinely one of the biggest reasons I ever even considered becoming a content creator in the first place. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only one, especially in the Call of Duty space, maybe even Fortnite, or just the shooter space period. Back when FaZe was in the New York house, Rain, Adapt, Banks, Call of Duty cut comms, trick-shotting, pranking each other, and just being idiots with each other in the kind of brotherhood that a lot of us may or may not have had back then, and some of us would even still kill for now. In between then and now, content didn't even feel like content. That was just a whole vibe. And if you were fresh out of high school like I was, you weren't quite thinking, I want brand deals. You kind of thought, yo, me and the boys could do this. In my opinion, that's what FaZe actually built. Now, this isn't a hit piece on anybody from FaZe. I will not be saying anything about anybody. No matter how many people we listen to that are actually in the mix, we will never truly know what went down behind the scenes 100%. But to get a little bit personal here, it took a long time for me to actually start taking content seriously. I was kind of making content on and off, uploaded some stuff here and there with the Share Factory on PS4 or whatever that was called. I know some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And during the little pandy-wandy situation, when we were all stuck in a house, I went ahead, copped me a capture card, started to try to get my feet wet with streaming off with Facebook Gaming and all that. But I still never really fully committed. And life was kind of just pulling me in a few different directions. You know, working a regular job. I was doing music. I signed to Invoke Records back in 2020. Was absolutely trying to make that work. I really wanted to make music my career, even up until last year. I was playing guitar and I was playing bass before my balls even freaking dropped. So I always loved video games 100%. I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. I picked up music second at about 9 or 10 years old, playing games like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, even some of the SmackDown vs. Raw games. But when I got into shooters, that was when I started to watch content, you know, the Allies, the White Boy 7 Streets, and those guys right there. That did let me know that content was there, but I didn't quite start to consider it until like 2015, 2016 FaZe Clan era. And with that, just being a kid fresh out of high school, I was kind of lost. Thinking all the way back to then, watching everything unfold with FaZe right now just doesn't feel good, man. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree, because for the longest time, they weren't just a gaming organization, man. They were damn near a blueprint to let us know you could have a group of friends that play games, fuck around with each other, travel the country, maybe even travel the world, and just have a brotherhood. And back then, early FaZe wasn't special because of production quality. A lot of those videos, if you go and look at them right now, they can only go up to 720p. And if you go back even another 2 or 3 years, a lot of those guys were setting up digital cameras, pointing them at their TV so they can go ahead and hit trick shots. So at the end of the day, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about attention. That shit felt real. It felt like a real group of friends. Grinding the same game, laughing at dumb shit, having friendly competitions with each other, and not pretending to be something that they weren't. Because that's our problem with content today. It seems like everybody is performing. It generally seemed like back then, those guys were just being themselves with cameras on. And they made content feel accessible, like this wasn't some unreachable dream. That's why so many creators today, knowingly or not, are standing on that foundation. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but I noticed things getting a little bit weird back in like 2020. And I heard a couple of the creators say the problem started when it became corporate first, investor driven, and risk averse. From what it sounded like, the creators stopped feeling like the point and started to feel like the assets. Now, Black Boy Max, he seemed to be in the thick of things, very close to the end here. He said it himself that it seems like they did not have control over their content. And at that point, once creators feel replaceable, the brand is kind of already in trouble. Not immediately, but inevitably. And honestly, there is a real lesson to be learned here, especially for anybody that's trying to make content right now. Maybe you want to get started in 2026. Maybe you're a smaller creator like myself and you want to take things to the next level. But my take on all of this is the core lesson is your personal brand, not an organization. I know everybody is kind of seeing this from different angles, but my content creator brain is kind of like this entire situation reinforces one thing. Organizations are kind of rented. Personal brands are owned. Look at the creators who landed on their feet when things got shaky. They weren't saved by the paperwork or the contracts or whatever. They were saved by their communities. Zuma, for example, is actually the perfect example. Now, he has been affiliated with both the content creation end of FaZe as well as the esports end of FaZe. Again, not gonna go ahead and dig too much into that because that's not what this video is about. But Zuma's community is the Zumafia. The Zumafia exists because people follow Zuma, not FaZe. Yes, FaZe kind of helped enhance Zuma's identity, but here we are. FaZe is damn near dead, man. But if you ask me, Zuma and the Zumafia are not going anywhere. If he rode the coattails of FaZe and never built his own identity, the Zumafia wouldn't exist. Same with Nadeshot. Optic gave him the exposure, Sure. And he took that gravity and built 100 Thieves. That kind of stuff matters. And in a weird way, this is kind of why I never rushed to sign with an organization. Not because I'm anti-org or anything, but because I'm pro ownership. And I have had some smaller organizations reach out saying that we can go ahead and work together and make some stuff happen. And I've only been on YouTube for about 3 years now. It seems like a long time, but I still feel like a freaking toddler here, man. And at the end of the day, if the organization disappeared tomorrow, if leadership changes, if priorities shift, I still want my community to exist. If my momentum dies without a logo attached to my name, then I actually didn't own anything. And a lot like Nadeshot, one of my long-term goals was kind of to start my own organization, kind of like him. Maybe it being just a content organization, or hell, maybe even an esports organization. But looking at this happen right here, man, I think that's kind of scary. And I understand content creation and just being a public figure in general. People are always gonna have an opinion on everything. But the last thing I want is for somebody to be underneath my organization, they leave with a bad taste in their mouth or hurt feelings or whatever the case may be. I don't want that. And that mindset carries over into everything that I mess with. That's why I rock with that Vans Gaming supplements. No weird blends, no mystery ingredients, just clean formulas that actually do what they're supposed to do. When I'm camo grinding, recording or editing a video for long sessions, I don't want spikes, I don't want crashes, I want to be locked in consistently. Same philosophy as content. Own what you put in your body. Know what you're building and no shortcuts. Check these guys out. It'll be the second link down in the description, and use code NERVS10 for 10% off anything you want to cop off at the Advanced GG store. And here's something that a lot of content creators don't like hearing, because again, a lot of the times they think they'll go ahead and sign to an organization and they'll just go ahead and take off. That's not the case. An organization should amplify you, not define you. I have a couple of friends that were signed to organizations for a little while, maybe 6 months to a couple of years. And then after they left the organization, yeah, they lost some followers, but at the end of the day, they still had and have their own brand. And again, this sounds strange, but it's kind of like you're renting the momentum, not building leverage. At the end of the day though, FaZe inspired a generation of creators, myself included. No matter what happened behind the scenes, if you're in the shooter space, man, that's something we're not gonna forget, ever. But the unintended lesson might be even more important. Build something that people can't take away from you, because logos change, organizations evolve, and with that evolution, it could work with or against you. But a personal brand, that's all in your hands, and that's what you need. I know this is a very strange video coming from this channel right here, but again, I just had to speak on it, man. It's kind of been a sad holiday season with the combination of this and losing King Vince, man. If you made it to the end, though, thank you for sticking around. If you are playing Black Ops 7, I'll drop 2 more videos for you on the screen right here, and consider subscribing if you dug the video. I'll see you guys over there.